Alpha Niner, this is Whiskey 250. Come on. Alpha Niner, this is Whiskey 250. Serrano, do you read me?
Jim! Oh, thank God! Did you find it?
Find it. Doc, I'm not even sure what we're looking for.
Just follow the waypoint that sent you. I can't tell you anymore. Just get there. Dude, do you hear me? You have to get there.
What?
Oh, it's lost.
What? Dang it!
Well, hello you lobby dossers and welcome to the review of Dead Space 3. This is a game of controversial existence. It was a game not well loved for many reasons. I'll talk about some of those reasons. Some of them I don't agree with. Some of them I do agree with. Some of them I don't know about because everyone's got their own idea of what a good Dead Space should be. It's like, oh, it's not like the first game. But it is. But it's no. It's changed, you know. See, I find gamers a very difficult group of people to please. When a game doesn't change over many iterations, they complain. When a game changes slightly over many iterations, they complain. When a game perhaps changes too much over same amount of iterations, they complain. There is just no pleasing us at all. Now, Dead Space 3 really is a game of two different halves. So I'm actually going to talk about each half in turn because they are quite different tonally. The first half is set in outer space. The second half is set on the planet Tau Volantis. And they've got different ways of dealing with the horror. I would say Tau Volantis is not as scary as the outer space stuff. But before all that, I'm going to talk about the intro. There's maybe about half an hour, something like that, worth of intro before you get into outer space. And you get apprehended by I think it's like the Earth Gov or something like that. Something to do with the unitologists. They're upset and they barge into your wee apartment. And then you chase off after them, shooting them. And it is the first time in Dead Space history where I've fought humans. Just bog standard, regular humans with guns. Which is a wee bit of an underwhelming start. Couple of shots, they're dead. Boom boom, head explodes, boom, yeah, you get the idea. And then you've got moments where you have to cross like a busy motorway, and then you have to jump on the back of a spaceship, and it all feels maybe a little bit too Uncharted. And I can't help but feel that this, as much as I complain about games, you know, having cutscenes for these moments where oh, this could have been gameplay, it doesn't really fit in with the rest of the game. So I do think a shorter cutscene to lead up to the outer space section would have been more, you know, conducive to the good of the game. I'd have preferred that. I don't really like the fight with the humans. Something very similar happened in Lost Planet 3. Towards the end of the game you started fighting humans and it just didn't really do anything for me because it's not as satisfying as knocking off the limbs of all the necromorphs. Luckily this area is mercifully short. And then you get into the spaceship and you fly towards Tau Volantis. High speed chase. I don't know where this planet's supposed to be. It's outer space, that's all we need to know. And upon reaching the planet you find out there's a bunch of derelict ships and there's lots of fucking mines, and then your ship gets blown up and you have to sort of piggyback onto the other ships to get all the parts you need to get down to the planet. Here is where the game is at its absolute best. I love this section because when you first dock with the first ship that you have to go onto to get the survivors in somewhere safe, it's like, it really is like the opening scenes of Event Horizon where they're first getting in and you see all the dust and the ice crystals everywhere and all that shite, and it's like, oh, it's just brilliant. And you'll get that moment a few times through this part of the campaign because there's a few ships you have to go into. They are optional, you don't have to really bother with them too much. I think there's four 4 ships. I think you need to go into 2 of them. One of them's a co-op mission, and the other one is just completely optional. And there's on the second ship you go into, there is an optional side quest there as well. And that's another thing the game introduces: side quests, side options, side activities. I like this. You want to be a bit of a longer experience, you've got the option to, if you just want to get through the story, you can do that as well. It's good to do the optional stuff though, because it gets you components, gets you gun parts. It's actually well worth doing, plus it's good fun just killing necromorphs left and right. And you will see the return of the regenerator necromorph when you're on the second ship you go to. Don't like those boys. I'm not a fan of the regenerators for obvious reasons, because they're just massive pains in the hole. They can't be killed. Hate enemies that cannot be killed. At least you can subdue them, but you need to do it a few times. There's quite tense moments. I wouldn't necessarily say they're scary, but they're tense. And you're running about like a prat trying to avoid these fucking creatures. You maybe need to wait for like a tram to turn up, and you're like, fuck's sake, where's my tram? Well, you need to wait on this thing is chasing you around the fucking station. And you need to, well, fuck it, you need to get your stasis in play, and you must. You get fucked if you don't. There are some, I wouldn't say new necromorphs. There's like different designs for them. They all look a bit beefier and chunkier in this one. Apart from the, see the wee squiggly ones that sort of they crawl all over you and you have to hit A. They look a bit different. They look more like giant ticks. They're easier to see and easier to shoot, but they're still a pain in the fucking arse. And I really like the look of Isaac's new suit, and you've got a few new suits in this game. I think I've got 3 total at the moment. Now the soundtrack in this game is phenomenal. Very reminiscent of Aliens though, or Alien if you prefer. You're going to hear it. If you know those movies, you're going to recognise the soundtrack a bit. Which I'm surprised I never get sued over, quite honestly. But it's a wonderful sounding game. Isaac is a bit more, older and gruffer, shall we say. I don't know how many years, I wasn't really paying attention. That doesn't really matter how many years. Oh, it's 5 years, something like that. No matter at all. I'm not really here for the story. I'm here for the fucking slaughtering of the necros. I'm here for the dismemberment system, which I hope they really, upgrade in the remake. And I'm sure they will. They can be quite annoyingly fast in this game though, and they can be deadly silent as well. I know a few times that I've turned around and went, "Oh, you bastard!" and shat my pants. You're like, what the fuck? You absolute necrotic punani that you fucking are. Go away from my sight! And once again in this game, both sections, the puzzles are great. I love how they did the puzzles in Dead Space. They made them feel like part of the world. It doesn't feel like, oh, here's 5 chests. Now you've all got to make them fart in the left hand direction before that door will open up, and you're like, what? Oh, but before you do that, you need to collect a coloured gem for each chest. Okay, and then you need to spin round 5 times, play the Moonlight Sonata, up your arse, you're through the door. It's like, God love Resident Evil, but the puzzles, they were just nonsensical and didn't really fit into the fucking whole narrative of the story. Why would there be fucking like statue puzzles? Why would you need to push that statue that side of the room and this statue the other side of the room? That doesn't make any sense. This one, it's like, get the power going, replace parts, get the parts flowing in the right direction, because it's like a door, or it's a cog to a pulley system. I love the puzzles. They've done well. Or you need to maybe hack a computer thing, and there's 2 different types of hacking puzzles in this one. It's just, yes, you've made the puzzles make sense within the actual narrative and whole scope of the world. It doesn't feel out of place and ridiculous like a lot of puzzles in a lot of games can. That's why I struggle with them, because I'm like, why the fuck is this here? Who the fuck built this shit? Makes no sense, and then my brain just can't cope with it. So when you finally get all your bits and pieces together, you've done all the exploring you want to do, you float about outside space, you get a cool wee tram system between each ship and it's automatic. I really like that. I don't know, I just like things like that. I find that very satisfying. It's a nice loading screen as well. And you'll get your chip, you put it in the spaceship, you get a fucking rocket booster off something else, and then you start to fly down to Tau Volantis. at first the crew are like, we're just going to go home, and you're like, well, we've got a chance to stop this here, because this Town of Atlantis is the origin of the marker. So it's like, we've got a fucking real chance to stop this, and some of them are like, no, let's just get home, but like, there's nothing left at home, it's been destroyed. So you're like, well, what the fuck's the point in getting home then? Right enough. You might as well get out on the surface and see if you can do some good. And that's where it heads. And this bit, I love this bit, because this could have just been a shitey cutscene as well. But it's no, you play it and you got to aim, and you got to move the ship out the way of debris. You got to shoot down mines that are there that are coming for you. You need to shoot down bits of debris. You need to get out of your fucking seat, turn fucking batteries back on. It's like an episode of Star Trek in that way, and it's really short, it's really fun, and it could have been a cutscene, and it's no, and I'm actually very grateful for that. That it's a completely interactive experience, and then you hit rock bottom and you hit the planet.
There's blood on the gauge, I can't read it!
Okay, so you've crash landed on Town of Atlantis and your crew have been split up all over the fucking shop, and it's a scene out of a horror movie. Well, it is a horror game, so that'd be helpful. It's like the scene out of Pitch Black when they're crash landing on the planet full of those, you know, things, and the ship breaks apart. Kind of like that a wee bit, only it's icy and rocky and more like The Thing, I suppose. You can see where the obvious fucking influences come from which sci-fi movies and the like. I'll talk a bit more about like what I don't like with the game, or what they've changed. Like the upgrade system's completely different. There's no more nodes. I actually found the nodes quite irritating because you'd need like 2 or 3 of them to upgrade one thing, and I just don't think it was done very well. It's like, oh, here's a node you can, but you need to have like a path of 2 nodes to actually upgrade the damage. So the 2 nodes between the 2, like say it's capacity, then there's 2 empty spaces, then it's damage, but you still need the 2 nodes for the empty spaces. They don't do anything. I just found that kind of redundant and kind of silly. So what you do now, you go to a shop or a kiosk. It's a suit kiosk now, it's not a shop anymore. There is no shop. It's fucking stupid having a shop. Oh, it's the middle of a fucking sort of hazardous outbreak on this ship. But you still need money to buy your health items. What? Nah, you'd be hacking that shit and taking everything you needed. Fucking building up money like a wanker. What are you, fucking some sort of fucking Goldman Sachs employee as well? Anyway. So you go to the suit kiosk and you use components to upgrade your stuff. Same with your guns, same with everything, and then you create your items, you create your health items out of these components as well. I actually prefer that to what came before it, because like I say, it was crap, it was dull, and it was redundant most of the time. Now you get to build your own weapons, you can build them from scratch, and you'll still get your parts, still get your telemetry spike, you still get your line gun, your plasma cutter, you get all that. You can combine a couple of them into the one weapon though, which I really do enjoy. Like I could have a plasma cutter, but instead of, you know, oscillate between left and right, it's got a telemetry spike thrower, or it's got a machine gun underneath it, because I might find that some of these enemies react better to machine gun fire than they do plasma cutter fire. Get what I mean, yeah? Get what I mean. And this is the first part of the game where I got a new suit, which was in tow, and it was a suit so I didn't freeze to death, because it was freezing to death in that other suit. Whether there's other suits in the first part of the game, I don't know. I didn't find them, I don't think there are. Have a wee route around and see if there's anything that I've managed to miss. The biggest thing that I think that folk didn't like, and the biggest thing that I didn't like, was the microtransactions. But at the same time, I didn't use them. They never spoiled my like for the game that much. They shouldn't have been there. But I'm not like, oh, fucking ruined the game. You're like, nah, just if you didn't have enough components, so like you can buy them for real money. Get to fuck. No, that can get to fuck. Another part of the game I didn't like was the boss fight when you get onto the planet. It's just, I've fought the thing twice and it's just not fun to fight. It's fucking irritating. But once you realise that you have to run it around like an object to actually properly kill it, otherwise you're really asking for trouble if you don't do that. Run it around this object a few times, shoot off its tentacles, and it'll emerge 3 bollocks from its face, and then you kill the 3 bollocks and you move on. It'll run away, and it's run away twice, so I'm not going to assume it's going to turn up. There's a really cool part in the game with there's some sort of industrial rock crusher, and you have to activate it, hack it, fuck it, and then it goes mental, and then you have to destroy it. Otherwise it'll destroy you. But there's necromorphs running around the arena at the same time, and it'll fucking smash into them and knock them flying, and you'll get wee bits like, you'll get other things with crushers and nice wee puzzly sections. I'm a fan of it. I like the planet as well, because it's like, well, this is the thing, and you'll get enemies that'll, you'll see them coming a mile away, right? And if they're like tremors, they'll just burst out the ground. And you're like, oh, you fucking bastard! Fucking hitting them with your plasma, fucking your spikes, your flamethrowers, your grenades, whatever. You've still got your kinesis, you've still got your stasis abilities. I actually don't know why folk didn't like this. Now that I've played it, other than that boss fight and the microtransactions are the only things that I've really disliked about it. Every other change I've actually thought made sense and is less irritating and stupid. I don't need to worry about money anymore. You know, well, you need to worry about components, sure. Maybe not quite as hard. Depends how you play it. I don't know. I play it normal. I never really found any of them all that hard. So I don't know where the massive complaints are coming from. There's a co-op mode, which is meant to play into Isaac's sort of paranoia. You're not really sure if this guy's here. And in the single player portion, it only shows up a couple of times. So even I'm not sure if he's there. I think it's meant to be that you're going fucking schizo sort of idea. He's turning into a paranoid schizophrenic and he's talking to people that he's made up in his head. Fine. That's fine. He doesn't seem as unhinged as the second game. And yeah, I quite enjoyed this. There's a quest to go get a super gun type thing, and it's like a wee laser gun, but it's powerful and it doesn't take any upgrades. All the guns can be upgraded as well. You get like wee circuitry boards that will upgrade them, rather than just using power nodes to upgrade everything. So I like the changes. So I don't like the shop. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you're on this space station, you're on this ship. There's nobody about. I know they're meant to be automated kiosks, but for fuck's sake, you wouldn't be going, oh, hold on, I'm 1,000 short. You'd be fucking knocking fuck at it and stealing it. There'd be some sort of, I'm sure in a dire emergency situation, they could have some sort of protocol where all the kiosks sort of open up for like emergency rations, and I don't know. But I didn't like it. It didn't make any sense. I mean, it's the same with every game like that. It's like, oh, there's this one guy that's got a shop. How the fuck is he got a shop in the middle of all this? Never mind, unless he's in on it, I don't know. But this is Dead Space 3. The ending's a bit cliffhangery. And there's DLC, which I really love. So there you go. I really enjoyed this game. I think it's a worthy entry into the series. If you don't agree, cool, tell me why. Tell me why. Tell me why! But I think it's just as scary as the other ones, which weren't very scary. There's jumpy moments, there's disgusting moments. Scared? Not scared of any of them. Thanks for watching this. Thanks for watching my dribblings, my pisherings. This is all for Halloween month. And I'll get more horror games when they go very shortly. Adios and good night.